At this stage, I don't think it's a matter of if AI will take over the K-pop industry, it's more of a matter of when.
I bring the pain like
Hey guys, dearyoongi here, and welcome back to my channel. In my 24 K-pop opinions to start 2024 video, I mentioned how I think that in the years to come, it's likely we will see an increase of AI in the K-pop industry, and how this isn't necessarily a good thing. And some people said they wanted to see a full video on this topic, so this is what we're going to do today. I don't want to make this introduction too long, but before we start, it is important we just clarify that I'm in no way an expert in this topic. I'm just a fellow K-pop fan who has done some research and wants to share her opinion on the findings. I would also love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments. Okay, now let's jump into it. What is AI? So before we go any further, we should probably start by explaining what AI actually is, because I'm sure a lot of people have heard the acronym thrown around a lot, but do not really know much more detail. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the use of intellect provided by machines or softwares rather than that of ourselves as people. To simplify, having machines recreate processes we would do as humans. There would have once been a time where such capabilities felt imaginary or extremely futuristic, and it still kind of does in a way, but in recent years, the usage of AI has become much more widespread along with its capabilities. AI technology is widely used throughout various industries nowadays, many being things we use in our everyday lives, even right now, in platforms such as Google and YouTube. And with AI's abilities only expected to get stronger, it's only natural that its reach will only get more widespread. AI applications in K-pop so far. Because AI has been around for a while now, we have already started to see its appearance and influence within the K-pop industry in various ways. One of the most obvious ways we are now seeing AI in the K-pop world is through the introduction of virtual idols. I think one of the earliest examples many of us will think of is Aespa. During the 2020 World Cultural Industry Forum, SM Entertainment founder Lee Soo-man introduced the company's new girl group Aespa, who on the surface would appear as a normal four-member girl group, but there would be a twist, officially incorporating the AI experience into a K-pop group for the first time. Aespa was to feature not just 4 members, but also 4 virtual members. Lee Soo-man explained that Aespa is a new group where the members of the real world and the avatar members of the virtual world coexist, supporting and assisting one another, and they are able to promote together with a revolutionary identity. The real-life members and the avatar members are separate organisms, and the avatar members have AI brains that allow for them to converse and support the real members, befriending them, sharing information, and going back and forth from one world to another. This move from SM Entertainment to introduce a K-pop group which combined the real K-pop world with the potential future world of K-pop was definitely clever, and I don't want to say ahead of its time, because it was actually right on the money in terms of timing, especially when you consider how AI's influence has only skyrocketed in recent years. Many of us had our apprehensions and even criticisms regarding this whole idea, where it was going. There were even mentions of having virtual idols in this way who were able to communicate with fans directly from their homes, and it all sounded a bit much. But in the past few years since their debut, we haven't necessarily seen Aespa's AI side as much as we thought we would, something which their label has also been criticised for many times by fans. I know, I hear the irony too. But it's an important note that at this stage, SM didn't decide to jump in headfirst with a fully AI group yet, because the world wasn't exactly that familiar with AI's capabilities within the music industry, and it would have been much more difficult for the public to accept Aespa as an AI-only group when we hadn't had any sort of transition period yet between regular idols and virtual idols within the industry. On the topic of gradually integrating virtual/AI idols into the K-pop industry, we were then greeted by boy group SUPERKIND. Unlike Aespa, where we usually saw the 4 human members promoting by themselves a lot of the time, and then their AI counterparts every now and again, SUPERKIND are a little bit different in the sense that they also have AI members, but they are active amongst the group, performing TikTok challenges with their human members, etc. For those who don't know, SUPERKIND are a 7-member boy group under Deep Studio Entertainment. 5 of the members are humans, or 3D as their company calls them, yes, I'm serious, and 2 of their members, Sejin and Sung, are 2D virtual idols, created with the use of AI tools. The group's leader, Damon, explained that their company was based on tech before starting in the A-idol industry, which now makes makes sense when you think about it. SUPERKIND's concept was very unique and new for the K-pop industry, because not only were they combining virtual idols with real idols within the same group, they were also to be the first decentralized group in K-pop entertainment. This means that unlike usual, where we as fans wait for whatever concept the label decides to give our group's next comeback era, their fans are actually called players and get to decide how the group will develop, such as what concept they would like to see for their next release, how their unique storyline continues to unfold, etc. This is probably one of my favorite examples of artificial intelligence being used in K-pop at the moment, because their labels have really thought about where the future of K-pop could be going. Part of me finds it scary, but another part of me can't help but find this super interesting. In a way, the fans getting to choose what sort of comebacks we get does kind of already exist, because labels will sometimes listen to fan feedback and what styles performed best on their groups, but this hasn't necessarily been done with AI in the past, and now it is. SUPERKIND's concept just solidifies the influence that fans can and will have on the industry if given opportunity. Now we have discussed the gradual integration of virtual idols within regular idol groups, we can now discuss K-pop's latest development in the AI world, which of course is virtual idol groups where all of the members are virtual idols, often created with AI. MAVE are a 4-member virtual girl group formed through a joint venture by Kakao Entertainment and Metaverse Entertainment. All 4 members are virtual idols, and there has been a lot of speculation regarding which real idols the members are based on visually, as a lot of their features can be found amongst real female idols. One thing I have found amongst all these virtual groups, and MAVE is no different, is that they all seem to have really interesting lores and backstories, because of course the possibilities you can create in terms of a storyline for a virtual group that aren't really humans is endless. MAVE's story is that they're originally from a city in the future called Indeepia, where emotions no longer exist. The girls then crash landed into the real world in 2023, where they turned into K-pop artists. Chu Ji-yeon, who heads Metaverse Entertainment, explained that MAVE is an ongoing project to explore new business opportunities and ways around technological challenges. I think this statement solidifies what we already knew, in the sense that labels are both concerned about and dabbling in the world of virtual idols in order to move with the times and not get lost in technological advances, as tools such as AI become more prominent within the industry and how art is generated. And there's just one more virtual girl group before we move on, because I'm not sure if people are familiar with them, and their name is ITERNITI. ITERNITI is an 11-member AI project girl group under AIA and Pulse 9. And you guessed it, all of the members are virtual idols made via artificial intelligence tools. Their label has made it clear that the aim with this group was to create the perfect idols, who are all-rounders that can do everything. The group's creator and management company Pulse 9 have stated that they believe virtual idols have a significant edge over their real-life counterparts. One of the group's members, Zayn, can apparently do it all. Their CEO Park Ji-eun said Zayn has a combination of characteristics that most human artists would be hard-stretched to pull off. She can sing very well, rap, and she can be a creative such as a fashion designer. Also, she's a natural-born actress, etc. This is one of the applications that I definitely anticipated AI being used for within K-pop and especially virtual idols, because it can take years to train an idol to be advanced singers, dancers, rappers, and it's very difficult to find an individual who can master all 3 and be that perfect all-rounder. Whereas with the introduction of AI idols, hopefully it will be easier to have many idols who do it all. Confusion between AI idols and virtual idols. I have a feeling I'm going to get this comment a few times if I don't include this. It's really important that we clear up the confusion behind the phrases AI idols and virtual idols. I myself have been confused by the differentiation in the past, so don't worry. Often artists such as MAVE and the AI members of Aespa are called AI idols, which on a technicality is true, but the members themselves are actually virtual idols that were created with the assistance of AI tools. These virtual idols themselves are not artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence tools were used to make them, if that makes sense. I completely understand how this is confusing, especially when the AI members of Aespa have been called AI Aespa, but in this example, that just basically means that the version of the group we know as AI Aespa was created to be a virtual interpretation of the real Aespa using AI tools, which Karina herself has previously explained. This is why I chose not to include boy group PLAVE in the previous part where we talked about virtual idols, who, believe it or not, considering their name, but they are not actually male counterparts of the girl group MAVE. PLAVE are a virtual 5-member boy group under VLast, but I could not find any evidence that their creation involved the use of any AI. And in a way you can actually see this because unlike all the other virtual idols we have discussed previously, they have more of a cartoonish animated look. And all I do know for certain is that motion capture technology was utilised to track the movements and expressions of each member to create their individual form. Therefore, I didn't want to include them when we were talking about idols created using AI because I'm not too sure they were. How are virtual idols created, and what are their limitations? I know it's easy for us to say, oh, these labels are creating virtual idols using AI, but how exactly is artificial intelligence being used to create these virtual idols? Well, has anybody ever seen the Disney Channel original movie Pixel Perfect? Although it was released back in 2004, I can't even explain how ahead of its time this film was. Oh god, I hope I'm not showing my age here. In this movie, main character Roscoe helps his best friend's struggling band by creating a holographic member for them named Loretta, who was created by using certain percentages of popular facial features that were deemed desirable and attractive to make her beautiful, extremely talented, etc. This is in fact very similar to what the K-pop industry is doing now with their virtual idol creation process. The 4 AI members of Aespa are directly influenced by their human counterparts, which, like we said earlier, Karina herself has confirmed, and in the case of MAVE, Metaverse Entertainment used AI technology to generate faces, merging the features and hairstyles deemed most desirable into 4 final characters, which, yes, is exactly the process as in the movie Pixel Perfect. When creating ITERNITI, the team at Pulse 9 supposedly began the process of bringing them to life by generating 101 unique digital faces, inspired by existing Korean celebrities, before dividing them into 4 categories: sexy, cute, intelligent, and innocent, and then they narrowed down this selection to 11 people via an online poll. Although it isn't technically AI, in case anybody is interested in how companies give these virtual characters dancing abilities, which human idols do train years to perfect, companies like Metaverse Entertainment employed motion picture technology to record real-life K-pop performances that a deep learning AI program was able to use to animate their dances in the group's music videos. Although the industry is making a lot of progress in the virtual idol world, some companies have confirmed that the use of AI in the K-pop world is still currently in its earlier stages, or at least still very experimental, and there are limits to its capabilities. Metaverse Entertainment confirmed that the members of their virtual girl group MAVE supposedly speak numerous languages, but are currently unable to respond to questions that don't already have scripted answers by humans. However, with the direction AI is going in, I'm sure it won't be very long before their company decides to utilize an artificial intelligence tool which is able to gather information from around the internet of how real idols have answered similar questions previously, combining these many interviews into usable answers to any question they get. This is similar to how the service ChatGPT already operates, using AI where you ask it a question and it conjures up an answer based on information already around the internet. Google's up-and-coming search tool will also work in a similar way, by gathering information from various sources to answer your search term, rather than just listing websites with potential answers for you to choose from like it does now. I believe this specific tool is still in its very early experimental stages in the US only at the moment, and you have to turn on a specific tool to see what it would actually look like once it's complete. And it's actually very interesting to see. How AI will be used in the K-pop industry in the future. We've discussed the current applications for AI within the K-pop industry, but what do we think will be next? How will artificial intelligence likely be utilized in K-pop in the future? One extremely interesting application for AI in K-pop I think we will see more of in the future is songs fully produced with the use of AI at various stages of the creative process. Some labels have already admitted to starting to use AI as part of their production process, including Bang Si-hyuk, who we of course know best for his work with BTS, now under Hype. AI tools can simply be used in the music industry to make the production of music quicker, by automatically cleaning up audio files and streamlining basic production aspects. In an environment like the K-pop world where trends are expected to move so quickly, using AI could definitely come in handy to get content out there quicker. But what some people don't know is that AI could very well be used to create songs from scratch, from songwriting to mixing to voice cloning. AI applications are able to scan huge databases of existing music to learn their musical structures, melodies, voices, etc. And this can then be used to create entirely new content in the same style. So for example, you can use ChatGPT to write songs for you. I am going to do this video someday. I'm going to do ChatGPT write songs for K-pop artists, and you'll see how similar they are. It's crazy. And some fans have also already been dabbling in this themselves for fun by gathering data on voices of, for example, the members of Blackpink, and then creating a cover of a Twice song or an IVE song, but the cover was not actually performed by Blackpink, it's entirely AI. And some of these are so insanely realistic, it's actually difficult to identify what is really a cover and what is AI generated. I will try and include some examples if I can.
Written in these walls are the stories that I can't explain.
If we are already struggling to distinguish between an artist really singing a song or an AI generation of their voice, then what is there stopping well-established artists and companies taking all this data they have on their artist's voice and using it to create entirely new music that they had no part in at all? And the crazy thing is that us as a listener probably would likely never even know. Another application for AI within the K-pop world is not just found within music composition, but also within marketing. One simple way I think we'll see an increase in the use of AI within the K-pop industry is search algorithms. AI tools such as natural language processing, also known as NLP, can be used to teach a machine to recognize and run search results based on behavior and preferences of the user. So basically this means that programs will be able to recognize what sorts of K-pop artists or releases are receiving the most search results, to 1, tailor search results to better suit your preferences, and 2, feed this information back to labels so they know what the people want. Now marketers have been doing this for years with the use of algorithm and search results, SEO, etc. But AI makes this a lot easier to do and, dare I say, a lot more invasive. And companies will better be able to channel what they do in future based on what the people are wanting, and then also make sure it's what's fed back to the people. The next application of AI I'm expecting to see more of in K-pop is virtual concerts. Now we all know that virtual artists aren't necessarily as new to the music industry as they are to K-pop. We had the Gorillaz, who were an animated band, Hatsune Miku, who was a vocalized software voice bank who had many performances on stage. So the music industry has already found ways to hold concerts for virtual artists in the past. Just recently we've had the ABBA Voyage tour for the group ABBA, who did a whole tour with holograms in place of the actual artist. And it was successful, they sold tickets. Therefore, I don't see any way in which this doesn't become something more common in the K-pop world too, especially when we start to see a rise of more virtual idols, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised if labels eventually wanted to find a way to hold concerts virtually in the same way ABBA did for real artists, have their artists tour more globally without actually having to send them all around the world, especially because there has been evidence that it's worked in the past. It would be much easier to cover more ground and actually perform more shows if there aren't real artists involved or on stage who need not just travel time but proper rest to do such a workload. And lastly, before we start to look at those threats, I also think AI will soon be used as a communication tool to make it look as though K-pop idols speak more languages than they do. I swear I've seen one group do this already, but I cannot remember who. I swear I remember seeing a video on Twitter late last year, and I can't find it now, so please, if anyone has any ideas what I'm talking about, let me know. But basically, what I think will happen here is that companies can use all the information they have on their artists' vocal style and voice style of speaking, and use this to create content of them speaking as they usually would, just in different languages, like English or Spanish, any languages they don't already speak. This could work for some time in the sense that it could make information more accessible to global fans, reach a wider audience, but there will always be that concern of blurring the lines of what's real and what is not. Will there come a day where we don't even know what languages an idol speaks unless we see them do it in person? That's crazy. The threats of AI on the K-pop industry. Ever since we began to learn of AI's capabilities, people have begun to worry how far things will go and where it will end, because we simply don't know. And there are many threats to all creative industries, especially not just the K-pop industry. You may have already heard artists voice their distress that their work is basically being stolen online by AI programs, replicating and repurposing it into something of their style that they are receiving zero credits for. Today, however, I will of course be focusing on just the threats that AI could potentially have on the K-pop K-pop industry. The first concern I have with AI's growth within the K-pop industry is probably one of the most obvious problems, which is deepfakes. Deepfakes are images or videos that have been digitally manipulated to replace one person's likeness with that of another. So for example, a video of one person doing a dance can easily be manipulated to replace their face with somebody else's to make it look like they're dancing, when in reality they had no part of it. This is a more innocent application, and I have seen some use of this already with K-pop dance covers. Although deepfakes are not necessarily new to the tech world, AI has definitely made them much more advanced and easier to create. Now a lot of them are like almost undetectable. Although this is not necessarily illegal in any way, as you can imagine, there are a lot of evil people out there who will have used it for ugly things. Deepfakes are almost always created without the consent of the original parties involved, so what is there to stop anti-fans from creating fake videos of artists making them look like they're doing or saying things they would never do? What is stopping creepy people from replacing the faces of NSFW content creators with that of K-pop artists? I know it's awful to even think about, but it's not as far-fetched as it even seems. This is something that has already become concerning in the Western pop world, and unfortunately I have seen examples of these sorts of recreated images on social media using K-pop artists' faces. On a similar topic, one concerning aspect of AI's influence on the K-pop world is the widespread of false information. Chi-Hao Yu of the Taiwan Information Environment Research Center has said that AI can make it harder for researchers to detect dubious content, and it can also create misleading material appealing to a wider range of readers, thus making the information environments we use even less functional for reasonable public discourse. This means that through the generation of AI material, it will become more and more difficult to decipher if the information we are reading online is true or not, and to have fair, realistic discussions with other people online. Wei-Ping Lee, a research fellow at the Taiwan Fact Check Center, has also expressed her worries about AI's capability to overcome cultural and language barriers that usually make manipulation easier to spot online. We can relate this to the online world we K-pop fans share around the globe, where we usually rely on proper translations to give us the facts. Many of us will already know that the online K-pop world is already rife with netizens trying to create certain narratives about idols or groups they may not like. These negative messages will only get easier to spread with the use of AI tools to hide the obvious errors we would usually look out for in like spam content. Eventually, it's likely we won't even know what is actually the truth or what is being blown way out of proportion by the algorithm and fake accounts. You may think it looks like 10,000 people all have the exact same negative thoughts on an artist, their behaviour, a recent comeback, etc. But for all we know, those 10,000 netizens could all be accounts generated by an AI program to look like real people with real lives, real social media posts backing up their accounts, etc. Whereas without AI, you wouldn't be able to do this so easily, and you would spot if those accounts looked fake or auto-generated, etc. And one final threat to the K-pop industry that I think AI will have that I wanted to discuss in today's video is the complete lack of human touch on the industry. Now don't get me wrong, I am very much aware about the manufactured aspects of the K-pop industry more so than many others, and how it is mainly centered around profit, of course. And the outside world already has this very preconceived conception in their head that the K-pop industry is entirely manufactured. But I'd like to think that some K-pop fans are also aware of the parts of the industry that has some real TLC, tender loving care behind it. Implying that the whole industry is fake does not do justice to the self-producing idols who work away in the studio, or the idols who are involved in writing their own music, because there's a lot of people's own love and passion for the art form in some artists' music. However, if AI does become the major influence on music production to streamline and churn out repetitive music like we're expecting it to, we're absolutely going to lose some of that flair behind the music that you can only get from a human, and from teams working together in the studio on concepts. I know this doesn't sound like a major deal, but if it does happen, K-pop really will become that machine that non-K-pop fans already think it is. Everything will sound and feel overly manufactured or the same, and there won't really be anything interesting going on or much differentiation between artists' comebacks or eras. And I think more importantly, you will see this take a toll on the artists and how much they are able to connect with and enjoy performing their own music, if they even get to perform it at all and that isn't also generated by AI. Because it didn't really have much to do with them as an artist in the creation process, so how are they going to connect to the outcome? Conclusion. I think if we wanted to, we could carry on talking about this topic until this video is hours long, but we do need to summarize here. At this stage, I don't think it's a matter of if AI will take over the K-pop industry, it's more of a matter of when. There is one positivity I can say at the moment, and that is AI isn't 100% perfect yet, and is constantly developing. Therefore, at this moment in time, we are able to spot where it's not quite intelligent enough to replace real human work yet. And I think that it is crucial during this transitional stage that we educate ourselves ourselves on both AI's capabilities and how we ourselves can spot what's real and what isn't before AI gets even smarter and the confusion gets even greater. AI isn't going anywhere, so the best thing we can do is at least familiarize ourselves with it. I myself work in marketing, so that's where a lot of this obsession with talking about AI has come from today, and I've already seen a lot of its influence on some of the everyday aspects of my job, and I think it's going to take over a lot of other aspects of other industries, and K-pop is no different. If we don't move with the times, we will simply get lost in them. Plus, it's important to remember the impact and influence we do have on the industry as fans. We can choose what we want to accept and not accept, believe it or not. We're not as small as we feel sometimes, and I think we could very well play a part in how far AI goes within the K-pop industry. Artificial intelligence getting more and more advanced will of course come with both its pros and its cons, much like most new technological developments do usually. I don't want this video to come across like I'm scaremongering or conspiracy theories of what could happen. More than anything, I just wanted to educate those who may not realize that AI is already in use around us in K-pop, and where else we can expect to see it going moving forward. There are areas that concern me, of course, like I mentioned, and I'm sure there are even more that I didn't touch upon, but all we can do is hope that AI will be used for positive reasons within the K-pop world to help improve the K-pop industry, and some of the notoriously more negative aspects, such as working conditions for idols who may currently be overworked, because it should make some aspects of their jobs easier. Let's hope those sorts of applications of AI will come in handy. Okay guys, that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. It is a little bit longer than I intended, I'm sorry. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments on this topic, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell. That should let you be the first to hear whenever I upload, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!